Shannon Sharpe is really unlucky. Every single day, he's looking like Puffy. Day by day, the situation keeps getting ugly. Busby in 5.
Serge Ibaka, Chewbacca, Waka Flocka. Lakers in 5.
Over the past week, Shannon Sharpe has been getting hit left, right, and sideways when it's coming to, this lawsuit by this alleged victim, Gabrielle Zuniga, saying that Shannon Sharpe raped her, essayed her, and did a bunch of treacherous and terrible things to her, and is now suing him to the tune of $50 million. Naturally, Shannon Sharpe denied these things, but as more stuff came out, as more times Shannon Sharpe talked, and him having to address these things, these videos, these text messages, these narratives, ultimately, it's having his world come crashing down right in front of him. And I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but in my opinion, he's done some things to deserve this.
Ocho, where your sign?
Huh?
Where your sign?
My sign? I'm a Capricorn.
I tell you what, you better not F this up, because we waited to this day to put the signs up and to make the announcement. And hold on. Now, when you go to the airport, you always tweeting out or IG who want to pick their boy up from the airport. Have somebody come in there and hang that issue up on the wall.
Oh, you talking about the Boost Mobile sign?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah, Ocho, you better not F it up. You and your unprofessional ways better not F this up for Unc. Don't F it up. I was doing my YouTube scrolls in the morning and I came across a video from a creator that I watch all the time, Anton Daniels. I know people think that that's a little bit different than who I am, but listen, I watch Anton Daniels on occasion. But he pointed out something that was very, very interesting. On these recent episodes of Nightcap, there have not been the sponsors that were once there.
Chad Ochocinco's background, he now has the Boost Mobile logo covered up with the jersey. Not only is the Boost Mobile logo covered up, but also on top of that, the DraftKings logo in the upper right-hand corner is missing. So the only logical conclusion that we can come to is that either A, the sponsorships are still there, but they're saying hold off, similarly to how we've obviously been informed over this past couple of days that ESPN is now saying that Shannon Sharpe is going to step away for a little bit in order to make sure that they clear things up right before football season. If you're not knowing about that, then I'm bringing it to you right now. They are not parting ways.
Not only is it the Boost Mobile, but it's also the DraftKings, it's also the ESPN, it's every single brand wanting to get away from Shannon Sharpe at this very moment due to these allegations. And he's also pushing to join his membership program on the YouTube channel very, very hard these days, because that's a big source of revenue and income that doesn't want to be attached to a guy like this to his magnitude. Now, it's no secret that his pockets are going to be affected due to the situation that is happening at hand. Trust me, these are grape allegations. These are very, very serious. But I do not believe that it has been beneficial for Shannon Sharpe to be speaking out on this matter, because I think that it's only made the situation worse in the time being. Now, I know somebody like me knows that these ads are the most important things in the world, and I would never do anything to mess up things with our sponsors, like today's sponsor, Pia VPN. Pia is my go-to VPN service for all my privacy and security needs. Whenever you're browsing online, you are transmitting a ton of data, and there can be a lot of bad actors looking to do a lot of bad things for that data. A virtual private network, or VPN, is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. Pia gives you private internet access, so you don't have to worry about things like hackers, ISP advertisers, or the government taking your information or restricting your online access. It's like having a full-time bodyguard when you're surfing the web. Pia also gives me the ability to watch a ton of shows and play a bunch of games that are restricted in my region. All from just choosing from one of its servers from the 91 countries or 50 states, I can watch whatever show on Netflix I want to. The best part is one subscription gives you Pia access to an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time. So whether I'm in the house or if I'm on the go, or if something happens to my device and I gotta switch to another one, Pia's got me. Go to piavpn.com/Ohmeezy, OHMEEZZY, and get a whopping 83% off. Plus, you can get 4 months extra for free. At that point, it's just $2.03 a month. Like, you can't afford not to have it. Did I also mention signing up is risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support? Shout out to Pia for sponsoring this video, and stay safe out there. You see, I think these sponsors stepped away for a number of reasons. Now, of course, at the very top level, these are very serious allegations that are on Shannon Sharpe. And even even though a lot of us have very, 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 very much doubt in the manner that he did do these things. I mean, this is a Tony Busby production. This is the same lawyer who put up this crazy claim on Jay-Z at parties that he's never been. This is the same one that put up a lawsuit against Drewski, who in 2018 didn't have, 91 cents to his name. Like, this is a crazy lawyer. That doesn't mean that these sponsors won't take this seriously just because it's coming from Tony Busby. They got to cover their asses in this regards. I personally think one of the biggest mistakes that Shannon Sharpe and his legal team has been making is been speaking out constantly. Now, I get it. At first glance, you probably want to protect yourself in these regards by coming out and speaking to the public. But when you are trying to paint these narratives that don't necessarily line up, or you just have, I don't know, what seems to be crazy claims and all this evidence and all these rebuttals, it's only going to open up the door for more people to look at you, your wrongdoings, your transgressions, and what you did in this case, regardless of if it was legal, not legal, moral, or immoral.
She will be asked to explain the text messages asking for fantasy role playing, asking to be choked, asking for a dog collar, asking for his, quote, black babies. This was all a plan, taped, manipulated, extortion, blackmail scheme, and we will prove that in court when we sue her in a counterclaim and she's under oath.
To me, that conversation and the conversation about Shannon Sharpe graping this woman don't necessarily connect. Sure, they're both in the kinky and freaky stuff. There's fantasy role play. Where does this align with the grape allegations? Where does this align with the claims of him choking her outside of any sort of sexual aspect? I just don't get it. And the only reason I would even have that perspective is because Shannon Sharpe's lawyer decided to speak out. Similar to Shannon Sharpe and his team speaking out about other lawsuits and legal matters that came out in Shannon's past. An old case from FS1 reared its ugly head this past weekend because when it starts to rain, it starts to pour. As Shannon Sharpe gets deeper into the weeds of this situation, obviously and naturally, more people are going to start to speak on the matters that involve his past and his sexual life and his relationship. So an interesting tidbit came out about that FS1 situation. Allegedly, Shannon Sharpe had choked a PA, a female PA at FS1, and there was some sort of internal investigation and some sort of financial compensation that came out of that, some sort of settlement. Now, Shannon Sharpe's attorneys, instead of letting that situation go without any sort of comment, denying anything, said that there was something that did happen at FS1. We did have to have some sort of settlement, but there was not choking. And see, the stuff like this is the reason why I ask why speak, because now you want to play the vague game, but just 2 seconds ago, you wanted to speak entirely on the matters of all these situations in order to clear your name. Shannon's legal team decided to tell us, yo, go talk to Fox Sports Network. Listen, they're not on trial. They've got their own things going on, but they are not on trial right now. You are in this court of public opinion game that you're playing. So why not answer the question directly? Another legal situation also came out this weekend where Shannon Sharpe's ex, Michelle Evans, called him to the fire. Michelle Evans is claiming that Shannon Sharpe has a repeated past, a history of doing these exact same things to her. The same things that were done to Jane Doe or Gabrielle Zuniga, the 19-year-old woman that we wouldn't know about if Shannon Sharpe didn't come out and publicly out her. Sharpe's team also came out and said that this was another fantasy role-playing situation. Seems like Uncle Freaky Shannon Sharpe likes to get down a certain type of way that can apparently be perceived as great. Look, I want to be very clear in my stance in this video. I don't know what happened in the real-life situation with Shannon Sharpe, Gabrielle Zuniga, Michelle Evans, or any other person claiming that Shannon Sharpe harmed them. I think attaching your name to Tony Busby does, void a lot of credibility in this case. I don't like to take any one person's side because, hey, celebrities can be freaky and I don't want to stand on the freaky side. Plus, people are actual victims out here. What I do want to say is the court of public opinion does not matter. And Shannon Sharpe opening his mouth has only opened up a can of worms to losing a bunch of credibility, a bunch of followers and supporters, and a bunch of advertisers who perceive him to be some Uncle Freaky Shannon Sharpe gooned out deviant. Not only are they not going to want to attach their name to you because you have these grape allegations, but I can almost guarantee that Boost Mobile is rethinking all the freaky deaky accusations that you have, even the ones that are legal. And I know somebody's probably going to say in the comment section, Omar, Shannon Sharpe has always been gooned out. But the difference between now and back then is that back then it all seemed like harmless chatter. It all seemed like, talk on the podcast with your bros and your boys. But now going forward, it's building a pattern and a case for you. It's letting the world know about your transgressions and that you actually do it. It's one of those things where, people didn't believe it until they saw it and now they see it and all they can do is look at you as a freaky old man.
You have to get to that point where you grown enough to just feel like, okay, I'm not in that era no more. So I'm not leaving my man for cheating once. Maybe I'm probably gonna get like 4 times.
4? Damn.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna have to get your number.
You know I'm the back shop king. So she passed gas.
Yes, sir.
She said, "Excuse me." I said, "That's all right, baby. I generally make them shit." Ooh. It kept going.
and be able to say some of the things that you were saying.
What was I saying, Ocho? What was I saying? I ain't hear it.
You was like, you gonna take this. I'm just saying, I ain't never heard you talk like that, huh? Now, what we do got to work on is ain't nothing wrong with your hip, but we got to work on your cardio because you was breathing heavy. When you lift weights, hit the treadmill first. Or do the step,
real talk,
do the
Ocho, your boy. Hey, Ocho, I was already knee deep for about 25.
Listening to Bad Legal Advice had Shannon Sharpe reveal his accuser by name and by OnlyFans handle. I know a lot of people are divided on the fence about whether you should out a Jane Doe accuser or not, but what it did for a lot of the community and a lot of the people is put a face to a name or a face to a person. Yeah, there was a transcript that talked about her age, but seeing her in real time, discovering that she was actually a white woman and putting this face of what a lot of people would classify as mid-milk to the accusations made people look at Shannon Sharpe even worse. Not worse in the sense that he did it or not did it from my timeline's perspective, but worse in the fact that you're doing this with that person. Now we listen to those audio tapes differently. It sounds clear as day that she is setting him up with all the pauses and just the way that she's posing these statements and questions.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Now we're looking at all the times on FS1 or on First Take or any of these publications where you've had interactions with women or you've had conversations about getting downright dirty. It all looks scary in the light. You then do things like screenshot your PR team's message to you to post out to the world, and instead of copying and pasting it and making it at least seem somewhat genuine, you do the screenshot thing, which makes it seem like you just don't give a fuck. Now Shannon Sharpe has made it very clear as to why he's doing this. It's for his supporters and his fans.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart.
We're going to be suing her as a counterclaim, and we will prove she's lying. But then I said myself to Shannon Sharpe, you need to talk to your family, your friends, your fans, everybody who watches ESPN, because you are telling the truth. The truth is on your side. And when you say it yourself, rather than me or somebody else saying it, you will be believed.
So I asked myself, who would Shannon Sharpe be willing to drop evidence that he's into race play for? Who would Shannon Sharpe be trying to drop, I don't know, a 10-minute sex tape if he had to exonerate his name for? Who would Shannon Sharpe be doing this for? Who are those family, friends, and most importantly, who are those supporters?
Shannon, I'm not done with you. I just can't get over, I want you to put a big black baby in me. That's what you like?
Yes, that is exactly what we like. That's what we've always liked. In all honesty, if I date a white woman and she doesn't say something like that to me, I ain't gonna date her any longer. I can tell with your light-skinned ass that it might hurt your feelings, but the rest of us like that. Leave Shannon Sharpe alone.
LeJethro, this is crazy. At the beginning of the video, I said that Shannon Sharpe earned this situation that he's in. No, I don't think that it's right for Shannon Sharpe to be blackmailed. If that is true, I don't think that it's right for Shannon Sharpe to be, pimped out or taken advantage of, if this is to be true. But not only did he put himself in situations for this to happen, dealing with, as he would say, 19-year-old OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga, aka Carly.
Coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
But he himself, through his actions, have opened up Pandora's box for everybody to investigate and have opinions about him, his life, his actions, etc., etc. Instead of just not talking, Shannon Sharpe has been on record being nothing but a horny, creepy old man. Even to the tune of being contradictory when it came to Donnell Rawlings and his relationship with a younger woman.
Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the... Donnell!
I didn't date her mom because... Why didn't I date her mom?
Yeah, good question.
No, wait.
I'm asking the question.
No, because
this ain't the Donnell Rawlings show.
Love is love.
If you don't...
Love is love.
I agree with you. You like them young, though.
I say, Drake, I heard you. No. Don't do that. I don't like him.
I don't like them young. I like what I love. I didn't groom nobody, son. It is what it is.
I don't usually do this, but I really wanted to address something that has really been bothering me for the past couple of months. My son's dad is a comedian and an actor, and he did an interview with a man by the name of Shannon Sharpe on his podcast. Now, on that podcast, Shannon Sharpe did a lot of digging. My son is almost 10 years old, and my son's dad and I broke up over 6 years ago. So for him to ever try to bring me up or a family dynamic or the age gap is very, very shocking to me. You went digging and you found the fact that we have a huge age gap, and you highlighted that and you tried to make fun of it, but you were actually really living that life, if not worse. I mean, this girl was a teenager, and, you know, with all the evidence that she put out there, I don't know if it's, you know, good evidence or not, or, you know, whatever. The stuff that I seen was pretty awful. I just feel like if you live in a glass house, please don't throw stones. You are very quick with the lip to ask him details on and why didn't you date her mom? Why didn't you date her mom? Oh, did you guys meet at Forever 21? At least I was 21. You know what I'm saying? Like 19 is too young. You at your big age, you know that. You have kids that are probably older than that. Let's leave it alone. Let's leave families alone.
Shannon Sharpe's loose lips ultimately are sinking his ship faster than the lawsuit, in my personal opinion. Ultimately, allegations are very bad, and so are lawsuits. But they would have stayed fairly vanilla if Shannon Sharpe had not opened his mouth about a lot of these situations. This called in question a bunch of his character and a bunch of his past clips that made people ask a lot of questions about him, find hypocrisy, past situations in which he's done similar things, lawsuits, etc., you know, on camera behavior, all these things of the like. And now, no longer are we saying to ourselves, oh man, this is messed up that Shannon Sharpe is going through this. A lot of people are saying, yeah, this Uncle Freaky, race-playing, milk-loving, aggressive, grabby man who is a hypocrite about the whole age situation is in a bad situation, but he's still nasty. You try to save your public image, but you ultimately hurt it even more. Shannon Sharpe, please, just hush.